And we are live here Sunday morning, Fatboy FadeAway Sports episode 166. And I got Tyler McGurk with me. I'm your host, Darren Breyer, here for another episode. We go over a lot of the Bay Area stuff as always. We'll get into our winners and losers. A lot of good ones this week. I don't know if that's a good thing. And we'll, of course,
choices.
Area Flashback as well. Tyler, how you doing out there?
I'm doing good. Still trying to get over this damn cold, but we're fighting through. We're powering on, and
It's cold season.
had a good, exciting sports week this week. I'm excited to talk about with you.
Yeah, I was sick a couple weeks ago. That was no fun at all. I was like coaching that game, like I told you, like chills out. I was not like doing anything.
Your Michael Jordan performance on the bench.
What a performance. The flu game. I got a shout out, of course, my daughter Grace. Birthday tomorrow, officially, right? But you got a the tea birthday party today. A tea party. If any dads out there, daughters have done that before, she's turning 5 tomorrow. So I'm at the tea party stage. She's my sister, of course, is helping putting it on, probably doing most of the work, if I'm being honest. So she's there. And then my mom's will be over there hosting it. So it'll be fun seeing her excitement with that stuff today. So happy birthday, Grace. Love you over there. I think she might be tuning in live. Stay with us. I think you'll like the A's Giants topics as well. So no, but it's hard to believe she's 5 though now.
It's crazy to believe, like you mentioned. She's growing up quick. They grow up quick. It's nice to have family members help you out with this stuff. That's got to be very nice.
Remember when she was born with La Preemie? She was like this.
A little peanut.
a little peanut. Yeah. So they got that on the docket this morning. So it'll be fun. So happy birthday, Grace. 5 years old. She's excited about it.
Any other kids coming?
Yeah, she's got like 6 friends from her preschool coming today. So it'll be very good. Watch out. A lot on the line today. 30. We got a lot of girl power out there today. So we'll see how that goes. But that will be fun. So happy birthday, Grace. Love you. And I hope the party goes well. They got apparently a nice cake. I don't know if hopefully the rain holds off as well. So it'll be good. So happy birthday, Grace, with that. Speaking of my week coaching, I had this interesting thing happen when I was coaching this week. We were playing it was like I said, it's like 6th, 7th grade girls basketball, right? Like, or at least this was what I was in. It is competitive, but it's not, we're not talking like the most competitive league all time here or anything. And so, but this game was not competitive in the sense of we're up 29-9 against Sebastopol, I believe it was, or something. No, it wasn't Sebastopol. Somebody. And we're out there, and there was like 2 minutes left, and I'm on the bench. The way our benches are kind of set up at our school, it's this tight gym already, and Hans is doing the clock, and this other lady, Shane, is doing the scorebook. And this lady comes up in front of me with 2 minutes left, and I just see her talking to the scorekeeper, which is Hannah in there, and they kind of both give this look, like they kind of just look away, like they're not even like looking at me, they just kind of look away, and I'm like, something must be up. So I kind of make my way over there, and the lady's like, it's like this, right? She goes, the possession arrow is wrong. And I go, the possession arrow is wrong. She goes, yeah, the possession arrow is wrong, and they're not changing it. I go, well, we're not going to change it because of you. I was like, we're not, like that. And I'm like, is this happening? It's like there's 1:58 left in the game, and it's a 20-point game. You have 9 points on the game, and we're talking about a possession arrow playoffs. I was like, what are we doing here? And so, but the thing that made it different is she just stood there behind me for about the next 40 seconds, did not move. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? I was like, she got something on her. I was like, so I turned back. So I go, do you want a chair? I go, do you want a chair? She goes, no, I do not want a chair. And I go, well, she goes, are you not going to change it? I go, no, the ref, that's not your call. It's the ref's calls. And then she goes, and I kind of proceed to wait another 20 seconds, and she doesn't move. She's just still right behind me right there. And so I'm like, well, I don't want you to stand here, but if you want to go stand with your team over on that side, that's perfectly fine. And then she finally moved, and I was like, went over to my mom at that point. I've seen down. I was like, she didn't notice any of it at the time because my mom was kind of more watching the game. And she's like, and I told her, and I was like, I think I just experienced one of the oddest things of my life. Like that is like, I don't know what it was. It was just really weird. Hannah was doing it. It was
typical Sebastopol. I know all about the Sebastopol sports mindset. They care about the little things, and they don't care about winning or losing.
It's a weird deal. Like, you live out there. Is there something?
I don't live out there. My son grows up.
Have you noticed anything coaching out there? Anything? Is there a different feel for it? I mean, you're not ripping on Sebastian. I've had a lot
of. They're very communist, and they want everyone to get equal chances. Everyone to have equal, like, everything has to be kind of equal, and you try and toe the line of going as far as you can without setting parents.
I guess we should say, if anybody's tuning in that's not from our area, so basketball would be considered like whatever the
hippie area,
hippie area, right? From like, it kind Absolutely. Of is it like a San Francisco out here, like in that sense of like you just like.
Well, it's a very small city, but has the same mindset, same values. They want everybody to have a chance. Everyone deserves.
What a golf course.
A lot of hand-me-downs. Speaking of Hannah, she posted a video of Tommy playing basketball. I was very impressed. You've been underselling the kid. He's in his bombs.
Can this bring up another good conversation? Maybe you can help us with husband-wife thing here. She showed me that video, and I said,
I hate to be the third one involved in this.
Well, you know what side to go with. That's not me. I was saying, speaking of this, we brought that up in the video. Thank you for being impressed a little bit. But then she was saying, I was like, I don't know if you should post that stuff. Like, it's kind of like, to me, like, is that rubbing it in a little bit? Is that too is that over saying our kids good at stuff? Like, was I being a little too much on that, Tyler?
I think you're being a little too much. I don't think it's not like she's the coach or she was like posting it.
She is the coach. She's
sorry, Hannah. I didn't know you were coaching these days. Good job. You're to coach them up. You're coaching them well. It's a cool video. I don't think it's overkill. It's not like he's like putting the other kids down and like zooming in on the other kids crying or just celebrating her son.
She said off to the playoffs. Is that even a little bit more?
A little trash talk can go a long way. Motivate the kids.
Shannon said it was awesome. So Shannon said it's often. So there we go. Shannon
my opinion doesn't matter. Listen to Shannon.
She was doing this in the book next to Hannah when that lady came up to him too. So we had to deal with that. And I had another thing with the basketball this year where the coach came up to me. I was going to host a game with them and somebody else. And like, this was a couple of years ago. And this coach comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, can we do a fourth quarter running clock?" I was like, "What are we talking about?" Like, I was like, "I'm hosting your game after. You don't come up to me and tell me what to speed up our games." It was an honest thing. And then, of course, we all know my famous basketball story with the All-Star game. Like, nobody does nude plays like basketball apparently in public.
That's the San Francisco aspect.
And I don't know what that's right there. And then I remember the guy playing golf there with the bare feet. I mean, that's always was a funny one to me too. So
it's interesting. I
was smoking a cigarette, playing with his bare feet. Well, we'll say it was a cigarette. And so anyways, that was some funny stuff that came up during the week for me. And we got to do a little other things than just sports a little bit there with it. But it was still kind of around sports. So I don't know. Literally always produces weird things if people are out there with it. So Fatboy FadeAway Sports tuned in that this morning. I mean, I love doing youth sports. I love all that stuff with it. There's just always funny stories, like anything that comes with it. So.
It brings out the best and the worst of like your community. Like it can be the best when things are going well, and then when one bad apple comes along and just wants to make it about them and their child or them and their team, it can really ruin and make things uncomfortable, like you said before. Like to go up and like be so demanding about a possession arrow with 2 minutes left, down 20 in a fifth grade girls basketball. I don't know.
Are you not gonna change it? No, you're not changing.
I'll change it when the possession arrow, when it actually matters. If it has to happen, if there is a jump ball, we'll look into it.
I told Hannah, I said, I think if it was a guy, I might have been like, "Yeah, I'll give you the arrow and 10 points. We'll see it. We'll do that." Like, it would have been like a real jerk move on that. I'm like, all right, but come on, you got to control yourself, Brian. So you got to
some points with that. You want some points with the possession?
That's what I kind of wanted to say, but I held in there. I said, look, we got to stay composed. We got young ladies we're trying to teach good morals to.
True professional over there, Darren. A true professional.
Yeah, we try. We try over there. Somebody said nobody cares over there. We go with it. So, Variety Sports Network. Football is now officially ended in the books. We're getting the 9 years aftermath here in a few minutes. Did you see any of the All-Star Game festivities last night? Probably not. Did you waste, or at least see? What do you think of the idea of Curry? Sabrina, how do you always say it? I'm sorry, I just always mess up last name.
I don't know. I always think it's ayahuasca, but I know it's not ayahuasca.
I know it's not the Iowa Hawkeyes, but I know it's. So we go there with the. When you saw the matchup, they have the belt. Kenny Smith is taking a lot of heat this morning, which he probably should for some of his comment. Just the way he did it was a little odd last time. I know he tries to do it in a conversation setting. Like that's how he's always tried to do the dunk contest. Like he's out in the playground type of thing, like over the top with this stuff. Like that's the best dunk ever. You know, he's always kind of been like
it's
that.
Like the one mixtape, like with the mic.
But it sets up this whole like thing. I feel like from the last couple of years, like where it's like, why are men playing women's sports, if you know what I mean? And then you have this competition now where it's like, it'll be interesting to see if they do stuff like this going forward, or they mix it up where it's like Curry and Sabrina versus Clark and Lillard. Like, is it something more like that set up in the future where it's not, you know, male versus female, and there's like kind of this like weird like dynamic. Well, they can't compete with us, or well, they should beat us, or like I don't know. Like, did you get any of that feeling after it, or is that like take away from the?
I definitely think they.
And can everybody handle it like Curry? That's my last thing too.
I definitely think they want to expand it. I think I want to give Curry a lot of credit for doing it, because I mean we can't even get someone in the dunk contest because they're so afraid to lose. Imagine trying to get some of these guys' egos to lose to a girl. Like not that it's a bad thing in my mind, but like these NBA players have egos and they want to win at everything they do, especially the greats. And for Curry to be able to step up and actually go one-on-one, and after she put up 26 in that first round, I was like, holy smokes. I don't know why anyone would say anything negative about what she just did. Like, oh, she should have shot from the women's line. Like, that would have tied Lillard's final round in the regular three-point competition. She was spectacular. I think they're going to try to expand on it. I don't know how long. Because once a guy loses,
she's such a good shooter. She's
she's unbelievable. That was very impressive. And I thought it was good that she took it on her own, like, and said, "I'm going to shoot from the NBA line." That's the only fair way to do it. So I enjoyed it. I think they're going to try to expand on it. I don't know if they go 4 girls, 4 guys, and just make that the regular 3-point competition maybe at some point. Or
do you think they'll get rid of the one-on-one thing?
I think this is what they should do. I think they should bring this to the WNBA All-Star event. If the NBA really wants to get eyes on the women, they bring this to the WNBA All-Star event, because people will actually watch.
You mean bring the NBA players to that event?
The NBA players go to the WNBA All-Star and do the 3-point competition there.
So, okay, but I guess I get that, but I guess what I wanted to say, what I wanted to just to focus on for a second was the one-on-one aspect of it. Like that, Smith is getting roasted partially because I think that one-on-one, like the way he handled that like girl boy, like he just kind of like the guy male, like that's my thing is like would it stay like this where next year it's Lillard go and like the men have won 19 straight, like who I just. That's why I'm like, I see them bailing themselves out in a sense and adding like Lillard and Curry kind of go against each other. And like, I don't know, but does that ruin what they're trying to do in that sense? Like, so
I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like the social aspects of these things along with it. Like, or like, or as we would say, can we woman up and man up enough where we can just go head to head against each other? And like, it is what it is. Like, as long as the person's not like, let's go, man. like, you know, like throwing a flag up. Which it's not going to happen. So I don't know. That was kind of my thing with it.
I think as long as the guy isn't overdoing, like Steph was there to build the women's game, is what he said. Like this is just to show how skilled Sabrina is. And Sabrina showed up and put on a show. Like if she put up 12 points, people aren't going to want to watch. Eventually it's going to be get the women out of here. They're not capable of hanging with the men. Like, and then that's where it'll get even uglier. And then if the men, like you said, go on a 19-year win streak, it's not going to last if that's the case. So the women have to win one for it to keep going.
Contest so they can win. Draymond. They like put somebody else in Tyler just so they can win.
Yeah, like they did with Draymond versus Kevin Hart. Like they have to sometimes put like a good 3-point, but then that takes away from the women too.
No,
like, why? So it's a tough.
Bo Outlaw on the 3-point contest.
Tough line you have to toe to keep this thing competitive and interesting for the men and women. Not for the men and women, but for everybody involved.
Real quick shout out to our guy Jordan here, the NBA being one organization with having the best of both men and women for one weekend. Kind of what you were saying there. That would be kind of fun to see that. Jordan, make sure to tune into their podcast. Check out this. What did I say? The second. They have the second best sports in the United States. Out there in Ohio, California, #1, of course, Jordan. So be sure to check out their podcast out there. Jordan always with us on Gridiron. So we'll probably do a few double-doubles together as well. So, Jordan, I hope you're doing well out there Sunday morning, or maybe get the Sunday lunchtime for you out there. So doing well. I hope you're doing well out there, sir. All right. Yeah, so, Tyler, that was kind of my interesting takeaway is it was a fun event. It was just that matchup and, like, how some of the social dilemmas I could just see play out over time. Like, I mean, you see that your whole life. So that starts early, so I can see that playing out. We'll see how the people humble it. What did you make of the court? A couple things stood out to me. That stood out. And then the three-point contest still is the better one. It's still odd a little bit with all these new magical shots you get. Like, I just still like the idea of, like, can we just, like, get the one money ball? Like, I know it's crazy, but it's just that's the best shooter. So let's just
exactly.
Let's just see from there. And the other thing, it was weird. I had to watch it on NBA Overtime because I don't get the TNT. So there was no announcers for me. Like, but we had the 4 different screens. So it was actually kind of different. Like, I didn't even know who was winning. So me and Xavier were, like, counting how many they were making. I'm like, I don't even know if this matters because some of them be more and stuff like that. So what were some of your takeaways from it?
It's good for Tavi's math skills. That's a good way to do it. I should do that with that way.
1 in a row. 2.
I mean, my biggest
3 in a row.
They try and do too much with it. Like, the court, there's no reason to shine that green light on the court. Like, Emily's like, why are they dressed like the Hulk? Their arms are all green, like when they were getting interviewed at the end.
Would it be red and black if they were sponsored by Coca-Cola?
Probably, absolutely. They would. It's all money.
It's all story.
And then the shots, I'm with you. Just give them 5 shots, 1 money ball on each rack. We don't need a starry ball from a little deeper. It's too much.
Get off our lot.
I don't even watch the NBA All-Star Weekend. I watch all the highlights, and I watch.
Did you used to watch it? When did it change? If you did, was it just when you got older it changed, or
probably 2000? Probably once I graduated high school. And when the games became 180 to 180, I'm like, I don't.
But how about the weekend? Like, was it when, like, Blake Griffin went over a car, or when Baron Davis peeked his head out through the thing and lobbed it up? And I was rewatching that dunk contest. The last part, it's insane. I forgot Kenny Smith brought out an opera. They were singing out. They brought out an opera of guys they had, like, they were singing the Space Jam. I Believe I Can Fly right before he did the dunk over the car. I was like, did this actually happen? I forgot all about that. Like, Reggie Miller's like, I mean, that was the best part. Reggie just ripping on Kenny Smith basically, but that was the best part. But I was like, what is going on with this stuff? Yeah, I would say for me, the last one when I really stopped was, like, Josh Smith. I kind of felt like it's starting to get a little worse. We're getting 1 good dunker and then, like, 3 bums, and, like, they usually the good guy would win, and then Blake took it to another. And even, like, the Dwight Howard one, I don't know, like, that dunk wasn't that. Like, there was good dunks here or there, but I just think there's too much props. Like, just come on and do a windmill for me. Just, like, let's just do a windmill. Like, give me that Jason Richardson dunk. Like, that's all I want. So I don't know. And then the game, the game's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I think the last one I watched was when Nate Robinson missed, like, 30 dunks in a row and still won the dunk contest. I was like, all right, what are we doing?
Oh boy, Are you going to go? It's in San Francisco next year.
No, I'm not going to.
At Chase, I kind of want to go to the weekend stuff maybe if I could, just for Xavier's sake.
Down to, like, the convention center, and
I think he would love going to the 3-point con. I don't necessarily enjoy it like the way I used to, but it doesn't mean he can't and I can't, like, go with it.
Absolutely.
It'd be fun to still kind of go to that stuff, and we're hating on it a little bit too. I also understand it's kind of what it is, but they have to try and do things. But I don't know. It's funny just to kind of look back on it. Do you have any
when you were watching it with Xavier, was he enjoying it?
Like, he was, like, fooling around with the ball, and, like, he's like, who do you want to win? So I picked Trae Young. We each got 2 picks. I picked Trae, and I picked who was the other guy? Brunson. He had a good chance, but at the end
he blew
it. San Francisco Army. How dare you? How dare you say that? I think you said that too. No, Cleveland doesn't. They don't throw beer bottles at refs after a game at all. They don't do that at all. But he's a Cincinnati fan, so maybe that's a little different. So, all right. So now, what are some other ones? For me, it's always Richardson off the head for Boozer. Those always, like, for me, it was like those rookie sophomore games used to actually matter as a Warriors fan because nothing meant. Like, I was like, yes, Mark Jackson got in there. Like, nobody, and I'm talking Temple Mark Jackson. Or like. Brian Cardinal got in there. Monte got in there.
Gilbert,
like, winning it. Like, those were the good days.
we went 20 years without an NBA All-Star between Sprewell and David Lee. That was the All-Star game for the Warriors.
I forgot David Lee was the guy that broke the streak.
What?
I forgot Lee was the guy that broke the streak.
Yeah, 2013, I believe. Yeah, that was probably the biggest moment for me as a Warriors fan. That in the All-Stars, we have someone in the big game. I think he scored 4 points and played 10 minutes. I was like, hey, somebody there to represent the Warriors for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, but somebody's got to give you an elbow jumper in the All-Star game. He was able to deliver. He was able to
deliver with great efficiency.
No, you're right. That's a good memory with it. Like, obviously, the dunk contests were kind of what they were. I remember Curry kind of being in a few early ones. He couldn't win it. I remember trying to tune into those. Those were a few. That's a whole different situation.
That was after Oakland.
That's what we got. That's why we got rid of him right now. The 2-year rule, we got screwed with that deal. The Larry Bird, what was that? The Larry Bird rule or something like that. Every once in a while on the X, somebody will say, we'll post a picture of Arenas and be like, what's the first thing you think of? And I just go Larry Bird rule. That's all I think about. That darn Larry Bird rule.
Steph winning the All-Star game MVP was a cool moment.
Yeah.
And then Steph and Klay going back-to-back in the three-point competition in 15-16, I believe it was. It was pretty cool also.
Do you think Curry he'll shoot in it next year probably because it's in the Bay Area, I'm assuming?
Unless they're doing a special event again. And
he can't do both? Yeah, you can shoot both.
Why didn't he do both this year?
Oh, you didn't want to rent Indiana? I didn't want
to. Shoulder was getting tired.
Getting sore? Heavy load? I don't know what he's doing. Load management. I just think he'll do it next year at home, and I'd be curious if Klay, if he's not a Warrior, would he come back and do it at San Francisco as well? Even if it was so I'd be curious because it will be in the Bay Area. We'll see who I'm assuming maybe Kuminga's in the dunk contest if he's a Warrior next year. I don't know. We'll see what happens there with it. My favorite one that we never got to see, I was like, Antoine Jameson's going to be in the dunk contest, but he never got to do it. I never really thought of him as a dunker, so it was like the one in my head where I was like, because it was the All-Star game was in Oakland that year in 2000 where Vince put on the show, and I just remember thinking, I've never even seen him have one nice dunk, Antoine.
Normally little put-back floaters.
We were joking that he'd do some jump hooks.
One-armed.
We're not ripping on Antoine. We love Antoine.
No, Antoine was great.
We just that was always kind of a funny what if to be like, he's doing the dunk. Antoine is that one never made sense. All right, so you got that. Any last thoughts?
The Oakland hosting, when they hosted, that was a great moment for Warriors in general because what an event it was with Vince Carter.
And we had flooding back then. I remember that was a big thing too during that time. It was like flooding.
It was pouring.
It was like absolutely pouring. I remember during that time of it. That was a fun time. And he was supposed to be in the All-Star rookie-sophomore game. There was a lot of good moments from then. That was the Vince Carter dunk contest. That was the Jason Williams elbow, I believe, as well in that game.
Do you remember who he passed it to?
I think it was Big Rafe.
It was Big Rafe.
He had some good dunk. He forgot Jameson was a Cav there for a little bit. I forgot he was a Cav. LeBron, right? He played with LeBron. I feel like. He went Washington, then he must have gone Cleveland there at the end. Remember, I always say
Dallas. Did it go Dallas, Washington, or Washington, Dallas?
No, you're right. He went to Dallas. You're right because he got traded to Dallas. And he went from Dallas to Washington. You're right. Remember, I always say with him, Hall of Famer. He might get in there. Hall of Famer. He's a college player of the year too. He might get in. All right, so you got that with the Warriors NBA this week. Today's the All-Star game. Sounds like both of us probably not tuning in for too much of it. Maybe the last few minutes gauge if they play harder or something like that. If Chavi's into it, then I say, or as I say, the Javier once in a while. So we'll see if Javier's into the game. I'll probably tune in if he watches it a little bit more.
With it being Michael Jordan's birthday yesterday, I went down a rabbit hole on Michael Jordan. And I was like, let's watch that 2003 All-Star final minute where Shaq hits a free throw. Then Jordan hits the game winner with 1 second left, and then Jermaine O'Neal fouls Kobe.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just watching, and I was like, man, at the end of regulation, the score was 120 to 120. I was like, that's a regular game these days. It just was a fun fact that I wanted to throw out there. That all game would end 120 to 120. I was like, holy smokes, this is just.
Got to give the big guys a couple touches down low. Got to give Big Shaq a couple touches. Yeah, the All-Star game just was played at a whole different thing. And give me the different uniforms too. Give me your own uniforms as well. I always say that every All-Star game. Give that. That is one of my pet peeves. Like, what are we doing with these uniforms. That's the shot where Jordan hits it over Marion, right? Baseline.
Yeah, in the corner.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game.
Hierarchy, nothing but net.
The West ends up winning that, or the East?
Yeah, the West won. Kobe hit 3 free throws with a 0.5 left because Jermaine O'Neal.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Not very smart awareness on the sidelines.
Shout out Indiana hosting. Get that.
Was that before the Malice in the Palace? I think it must have been before 2003.
Yeah, that was before, and then and then Fred Jones 2004. Damn, killer! Would have ruined a legend. Could have a 3-time defending champion. Jason Richardson. 9 years aftermath. How you doing a week later Sunday here?
I'm doing all right. I actually started reading the Walsh book.
No thoughts about the bridge. No thoughts about a bridge. You're good. You're not like.
No.
Are you eating again? Are you eating? Are you eating too much? What do we do?
I ate too much. I'm good. There was a lot of good things that happened. I just look back at it now. A lot of good things happened. We have a quarterback, in my opinion. I know a lot of people still have questions. But if someone told you Purdy was going to throw for 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, be the most efficient quarterback in the NFL after he tore his elbow up. And then we have a lot of talent. We'll be back next year somewhere in the playoffs, I imagine, unless shit hits the fan. But it's a blown opportunity for sure. But
so this one, it's got to hurt though still a little bit thinking back.
Oh, for sure. It's a blown opportunity.
3rd and 5. So, come on, let's get it done. 2-minute warning. What are we doing here? Yeah. Is there one play that is continuing to bother you a little bit?
The damn punt.
The punt, yeah.
That hit the guy's foot. I mean, it's completely unfortunate, but we caught a break with Pacheco fumbling at the 10-yard line. They didn't capitalize on McCaffrey fumbling. Yeah, it is what it is at this point. I was talking to my dad, and I was like, man, you were spoiled. You had 5 championships, no losses, like in a 10-year period. This is rough. These 3 losses in 12 years. I don't know. And he goes, yeah, you got the Giants and the Warriors. I had to wait 56 years for the Giants to win a championship. I was like, sure. I guess in some aspects I'm lucky, but 9 years sucks.
Yeah, I missed out on the A's. Good times. I missed out on those. I have nothing to the I have nothing. Billy Butler. So those are some of your overreactions. Or what do you feel like has been the most Niners like Twitter fan base overreaction thing where you're just like, oh my gosh, shut up. You're like, what are we talking
about? The whole
about?
Fire Kyle, or Kyle is an idiot. Kyle doesn't know what he's done.
Not Wilks shouldn't be fired. I feel like a lot of people didn't understand the Wilks situation from the year.
But I understand why that happens, because it's people who aren't Niners fans saying
that's my point. Those are that kind of.
So I'm like,
so you don't think any Niners fans didn't have a problem with it?
No, some did, but I just put them on. Yeah, some did, and they're idiots too. I mean, if you watch all years, you heard me complain about Wilks for weeks at a time. He wasn't the defense for the amount of talent they had. Just wasn't as good as it should have been. It was great in the Super Bowl. They played great in the Super Bowl. They didn't deserve to get fired for what happened in the Super Bowl. It's the weeks leading up to it and the weeks before that. He wasn't as good as his predecessors.
Did you catch in the Super Bowl that part where they're like, Shanahan had to call timeout? He didn't agree with that.
Yeah, on the cover zero.
Yeah, so like that happened there too. And then you're right. Wasn't there a Vikings thing that happened at the half right this year on a Monday night? They did it.
Yeah, they did the same thing. Yeah. Tavarius Ward went for a pick on Jordan Addison, and Jordan Addison ripped it out of Tavarius Ward's hands and ran it for a touchdown.
And I know the Chiefs had injuries in their playoffs for sure. I know their left guard, I believe, was out in the game too. Has been a big part of their, and they had other pieces out. But I always wonder for the Niners defense the
Greenlaw aspect.
Even deeper, Ufunga is your safety, just like his ability to get picks and like read, like I don't know. He's always somebody I kind of look at the end of the year when you lose something. You're like, gosh, like just a player like him. Greenlaw for sure in the moment, but I just mean also, that's those things like that. It's just like you're like, well, maybe it's not meant to be. So I think that's kind of that. Like that's how you look at it as a fan. I think when you look at it like that. So your Niners, you're recovering. You're recovering there. We're doing all right.
I get a little scar tissue going with this week off of football. No football this week. A couple months.
Talking the gridiron, a little break now. Jordan, we're out there. A little break Sundays. It's kind of nice. Little Sundays off for a little bit. We'll do it. Nice. Let's take a deep breath. Not have to worry about. I will miss the Papa's Pizza though. We'll miss that.
a couple brewskis.
Well, just one. We got to keep it light. We got a long day. It's a long day ahead. We got to save those for the night games. So good times there at the. So Niners reaction there at the NFL kind of in the books here now a little bit. Any last thoughts on the NFL before we move to my thoughts on some MLB stuff here?
No, I can't think of anything. I hope. The whole Brandon Ayuk situation going on now.
About him wanting to be traded?
Girlfriend doing all this nonsense about him not being here next year. Seems like he's going straight out of the book of Debo 3 years ago or 2 years ago when he wanted a contract. I don't know what they're going to do.
They can't pay all these guys.
Exactly. They're going to have to find it. But like we've always said, the NFL cap is not a real thing, and you can maneuver it in any way.
And you'll need a linebacker.
If you're willing to pay the fines or the penalties.
And you're going to need a linebacker with Greenlaw out to start the year.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You'll need to replace him, and who knows how he'll do coming back. And then
hopefully we can bring back Al-Azir back from San Francisco. He's on the Titans this year. He had actually a good year. See what he's demanding on the contracts.
Do you want to sign the guy you traded for Young?
No, hell no. Get out of town.
Ohio State, out of here. Nobody's liking that guy out there. Replaced with Calvin Ridley. I probably wouldn't be that.
I wouldn't mind that.
No, I'd take that.
Take
that. Hey, you saw the A's thing out there this week about just like their whole like the possible moving stuff and how like it's kind of like, well, they haven't really found a spot yet and all that gets. Have you seen any of that stuff yet?
Sounds like more likely they're going to stay in Oakland for at least.
I don't know, but
could stay in Oakland. It seems more likely than it did 2 months ago.
It did seem like that a little bit more. You're right. Like they did have a little bit more of a chance. I mean, can I show this thing on the screen real quick? This is like Jeff Passive, what I thought was funny with it. And like, well, I won't play it, but I just like this.
Everybody sort of thought it was a done deal that the A's were going to move from Oakland to Las Vegas. Are there now any doubts about this among other owners?
Yeah, Tony, there are doubts everywhere about the A's because here's the one thing that they have proven themselves adept at, being completely incompetent. I was talking with somebody yesterday, doing a story on expansion, and, the A's came up because the A's need to be in place in Las Vegas in order for MLB to expand 2 more teams, which is looking like it's going to be 2030 or so. But, this person who's been dealing with the A's is like, do they know what they're doing? Like, is this a joke? The whole process has been messed up from the start. Dating back 20 years to them trying to get a stadium in Oakland, failing to do so. And now they're going to go to Vegas, and all of a sudden it's going to be smooth sailing in a city that really hasn't shown a lot of desire to have you. The entire thing from the beginning, Tony, has been a disaster. And if this thing fell apart, it would surprise absolutely nobody.
I thought that was funny, Tyler. I wanted to play that whole thing because that's really how it is. Like, I don't think anybody would be shocked that knows what has taken place here. Like I said, Billy Butler, your highest spent guy. The joke in terms of, and I've always blamed Oakland too, but the ownership drives this stuff too. Like they have to have that kind of in with this stuff. They have to be able to talk their way through things and be able to be smoother. Like that's how you get big deals. That's what Jerry Jones does. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what the ownership does. And this guy's not able to do that at all. And it would, like, they'd be the last team out. It would be a little weird to see them without any sports teams, knowing that we've had them our whole life. So Tyler, what do you kind of make of Passan, who's a pretty big baseball writer in the sport, and he unloaded on him?
Oh, he's probably the top 5 baseball writers right now, as far as when he gets stuff out, people read it. I'm not surprised that he feels this way. We've watched it since Fisher's taken over, and even before when Fisher wasn't there. And
it's great to see it in public like that, I guess, for me.
It's surprising that someone would go that hard on a Major League Baseball team, even though it's deserved. Like, you brought it up every time we talk about the A's. Fisher's a moron. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to pinch pennies at every opportunity he gets, and it's baseball needs to step in at some point, like you said. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it's even legal for them to do it. I'm not a lawyer, but they have to do something about this situation.
Somehow basketball did something with these guys. Like they figure out ways to get rid of voters. I know the Clippers want
a little more just cause in that situation, but I get what you're saying.
But there's got to be a way to, like, hey, buddy, you need to spend a little bit more, or we're not giving you money, or we're not going to let you move for free, not even have to pay the relocation fee. stuff like that, right? Like that's the stuff where that's not like I don't get it. And so
could they take them out of their profit sharing or that's probably illegal also, but like what if they go, hey, we're not going to pay you for the merchandise, we're not splitting it with you if you're spending under this amount of money?
They have to. And like my guy Ed out here, hope you're doing well out there, sir. Easy to find a way. And but they feel like at 52, that's a long time. I mean, I don't know. That feels different than the Raiders, who from day one always felt like they were moving. Even when they came out here in 95, 96, I was always like, they might move. It was kind of always a weird deal. So I don't know. I just feel far from Moneyball era and the players they really brought up. Oakland has fallen so far down the ladder. It really has. And I think politics is part of that with some of the way they've handled some of their stuff. It hasn't gone well. I've heard some A's fans say Oakland has anything to do with it. They definitely have something to do with it, but the ownership has to do more, and they have to stay in Oakland. Like they don't have to, but you know what I mean. I just feel like that it does. It just feels like that's where they should be at. And even if they can't, like if they there's something coming up now where like the Vegas mayor said, they should maybe try to work something out with Oakland, right? And now Oakland's at the table trying to get a lease to stay in Oakland longer. Like if you're the A's, like even if you do something like that, you're saying, okay, well, if you're doing that, we're keeping the team, like we're keeping the logo, we're keeping the colors. And if there's an expansion team, we want to be one of those two teams.
I did read something saying they are at the forefront of getting one of those two teams if this all comes to fruition.
And they just need to. And like I'm just tired of people saying it's not in Oakland. Like Oakland, like people don't show up to the fan. That's not. Then you just don't understand what's going on, and you're just a young pup. That's like this. Like you pay money you go to a product for 25 years when you feel like the ownership hasn't tried to win, and you tell me if that's exciting for you, if you lost all your great players every year. I'm just saying. So, and you could say, well, they've had some good years and they didn't show up. That's fair. There is some years where that is the case, but you also have to realize on the back end of that, there's never really been a commitment from the ownership as well. So I feel like that's also kind of goes hand in hand, in my opinion, with that.
No, you're right. You're right. I agree with everything you just said. It's
we'll see.
Tough to be an A's fan at this point.
Be a little life, maybe a little. When you say dubber, there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Let me get that crew cut. I get that cut there. So we'll see what happens with it. A's baseball starting up there. The Giants. What I just read before we came on. The Panda. Maybe making a comeback. We get the Panda hats back out.
I was shocked it wasn't the A's signing Panda after all their signings this year. Oh man, it's a mess. The Giants suck. They're not going to be any good.
I think
at least they have something to look at that's not the team in the stadium. That's like their only draw is going to a nice area with a beautiful place to watch a game. So, but team, in my opinion, is going to be absolute garbage. 78 wins, or 74 wins.
Oh, well, before I go in on your Giants to help you out a little bit with that, I will say this with the A's of the small market. It always cracks me up that they were from 1988, I think, to 1992, Tyler, they had the highest payroll. So, like, my point is, like, I don't know. Like, I just say it. Like, they did have the highest. Maybe you're like, well, that's a long time ago. Well, the Yankees were still a long time ago, too. And, like, I don't know. They were making the most money. So, I think it just depends on the ownership that you have. So, and, like, getting it set up. So, we'll see what happens. Giants, you said 78 wins. I mean, you got solar power now. Come on, man. You got to. Are you happy baseball?
Are you happy?
You didn't seem like you're excited. If I tried to get you fired up on seventh inning a little bit, like, come on, you got 30 bombs your way. You haven't seen it since 2004.
He's hit 30 home runs in 2 seasons. It's not guaranteed. He's not that good. Is my problem. Like we're acting like he's an automatic 35 home runs. He's done it twice in his career. What do we like? Maybe it's 20. It's a new stadium, a harder stadium to hit home runs. I don't. I mean, at least he's right-handed, which is nice. We have a right-handed power hitter, which we haven't had since.
That is
Jeff Ken.
Yeah, I'll get Bonds up here. He made the stadium look a little too easy. But here's some 30 home runs. Here's the last guy that hit 30 bombs for your team. Made it look a little too easy. The ball flying about 5,000 feet.
Those were the days.
Do you think that is it? Just that you need a lefty with power, but now you finally got the righty. And people have been crying about the righty with power. And then I'm like, that 2004, that's just incredible to be 20 years that you've gone without somebody that's at 30 Bonds. And anytime I can get Bonds hitting home runs up on the screen, I'm going to get that up.
Always a plus.
always a plus to get that up there. So there's a few of his bonds there. So
but I mean, comparing to Jorge Soler as a right-handed power hitter to Barry Bonds as a left-handed power hitter, it's a little bit different. Hard to buy in.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be batting 350 at the same time. So that's going to be tough for you there. All right, so you got that with it. A couple things going there with baseball. Like I said, spring trading getting started there. So
Giants are reporting pitching. Some players are reporting today. Big Jen-Hoo Lee was the first one there.
Yeah, you see, you got him, new leadoff hitter as well. So we get that. So tune in 7th inning stretch. Tyler was with us this week as well on the show. It was fun having you on. Hopefully, like I said, maybe once a month. It'll be fun to get you on the show. Kind of get the update. I get to update you on the other stuff around the league. That's the good stuff around this year. I get that. Now you're doing fantasy baseball. Now I get to update you on the other stuff. All right. Couple other notes here. Kansas State. Cal apparently has 2 guys that are in the top 100. Maybe we have to make our way out to a baseball game out there, Tyler. They beat number 24 Kansas State College baseball on the way there. So we'll shout them. When I see a guy for Sac State, he got hit 7 times and won in two doubleheader 7 times.
Did he do something before the game? Those 2 games?
He got an RBI on the 6th hit by pitch. I was like, wow, that's a lot of him. He got hit with all those. So I'll send you the video I found of it afterwards. But Sac State gets the W, and they have a player that got hit by a pitch 7 times.
Is it Craig Bezia putting his elbow out there, or is he getting drilled on purpose?
He got hit 3 times in the right foot. That's what it looked like to me, or something like that one. The last one's kind of funny because he's finally limping. It looks like at the end. But 7 times out there. I get a little shout out to Sac State. What do you got for winners and losers this week?
Let me find that real quick. Well,
I got Grace's birthday real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, Grace's birthday. My winners are Sabrina Ayahuasca. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. The Matherin Ivy Rising Stars little trash talk. I found it very interesting. Matherin says they should have drafted me, and Ivy goes, "What did you say?" He goes, "They should have drafted me." And then Ivy takes it very seriously. The smile completely disappears. And guess who plays the first game after the All-Star break? Must-watch TV. Detroit versus Indiana. So I think that's a winner. And then
will Isaiah Stewart be there?
Isaiah Stewart. He might be, unless he gets traded in the next couple of days. Another Malice in the Palace. A repeat. 2.0. And then I have UFC 298. There's good fights. Volkanovski loses his 3rd straight to Ilya Tapuria. I can't pronounce his last name. Spaniard. Looked really good. Definitely has dynamite in his fist. Great fight. And Volkanovski, you go from pound for pound champ to probably unranked and people calling you washed. It's a tough game, that fight game.
Fight game's a tough one. That's a tough one. You had your guy Jesse on TMB this week. That was a good show.
Check it out.
Yeah, the sports show. So shout out them as well. Shout out our guy Ant Jordan tuning in as well this morning. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Anybody else that's tuning in? Hannah tuning in as well early on for the shout out. All right, so some of my winners, of course, my daughter's birthday tomorrow, turning 5. The commissioner leaving in 5 years. Is that win/lose still? I don't know what that is. So I guess it's a winner. He's losing. Loser that he's staying 5 more years. So I guess it's a little bit of both. It's like that circle when you draw them. It's in between. So he gets to go in between.
Like I said before, it must be nice to be able to call your shot on when you get to leave your job. I'm leaving in 5 years after I make $40 million a year, and then I'm out.
I talked about Jeff Passan with that. How about The Rock coming back, being a heel? Is that a good winner? Shut your mouth, fatty. That's
I'll
good.
Slap the herpes off your mouth.
To me, that was kind of good stuff to see that back.
That was very exciting.
I kind of saw that with it, so that was good. Finally, you got that was good. I don't know, it just brought back the feelings, right, bro? And I'm not even a big wrestling guy, so that was kind of cool to see that part of it with him back with it. So those were some of my winners of the week. You got any losers? Losers of the week? Or you got
I got one more winner, and that's
yeah.
I was watching movies yesterday, and I watched Dunkirk, Academy Award-winning movie by Christopher Nolan. He did Oppenheimer and all the Batmans that are good. And it's a one-on-one movie. They literally do no character development. The character and they have great, and the acting's great. They're like Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy. but there's like no plot development. And it's just like this story that is unbelievable. Like the citizens get involved, the military guys from France and English it's like the actors could be any of the 400,000 people on that beach. Like the stories are all similar and what they had to go through. And it's just a crazy story. I highly suggest you check it out. A lot of people have seen it already. I'm not like.
What's it called?
Dunkirk.
I've heard that's a foreign. Is it a foreign film? Like, was it made?
No, it's an American movie. Christopher Nolan, okay. American, but it's all based on England, France escaping this beach in France with the Nazis closing in on them. And they show no Nazis the whole movie. They don't show any Germans except for a guy flying a German plane, but they don't even show the guy in the plane, so they like remain faceless. It's a crazy movie how he did it and how he built a great story with no character arc on anybody. No backstory on any character except for one old guy because his son was in the military. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I'd like it. How
long movie are we talking?
This is why I turned it on. Only an hour and 47 minutes. I was like, I'm going to watch Oppenheimer. 3 hours. I'm not watching that. Let's see another Christopher Nolan movie. Hour 47? Let me watch that
one. 3 hours. Scared you away there. 3 hours on it.
Yeah, I don't have 3 hours.
Well, I think loser of the week is obvious. I think the All-Star weekend, in a sense, it just isn't the same as it used to be, as we talked about. So I feel like that kind of gets a loser of the weekend there with it. You got any other loser of the week?
I mean, just to build on the dunk contest. I mean, I'll give them winner because they had an All-Star actually participate, but just a terrible dunk contest. First time the All-Stars participated since 2018. Could you guess the player? You freeze? Well, the player was Victor Oladipo in 2018, the last All-Star before Jaylen Brown to participate. And then another loser I have is Kenny Smith for running his mouth like an idiot. Just talking to try and be like entertaining when there's a time and a place. And he just didn't really find the right line to.
He kind of pushed it there a little bit with it. Hopefully my internet stays out here. It always pushes it once around in the morning. Thank you guys for that. So that's a good one. I'll go get our flashback on the screen here before anything happens with it. For Bay Area Flashback, Tyler, you mentioned the dunk contest. Should we just say here for just a few minutes some of Jay Rich's old dunks? Like these were the good old dunk cut. Like this is what we're used to growing up. This is what mattered back in the day. Like just give me the windmill. Like and a couple like highlights of it. Like
this one's ridiculous.
That's good. That's the dunk that kind of I think caught everybody's attention. That was the first one. This was in the third dunk contest. He lost to Fred Jones, but as I got the MLB or the flashback here, Bay Area flashback of the week, I felt like I had to do dunk contest this week with Jay Rich when we can get him up on the screen when we can, because for me it was always an important part growing up being as a basketball fan, and he was like the one guy that kind of represented the Warriors well, I should say. So anytime I can get an excuse to show some Jay Rich highlights here on the dunk contest, I'm going to get it on there. But these are like legit, like right? Those are like nice dunks. Like there's nothing. There's nothing like out
there's
of
no props.
No
car. There's no. I got to jump over somebody.
We're not jumping over people, so I don't know. I think that was a good Bay Area flashback.
Absolutely. Whenever you see those jerseys, you think of Jason Richardson dunk contest.
Absolutely, that's what it is. Even more so than we believe. That's what I think of. I think that's.
Yeah, I do for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Tyler, good show this week. Fatboy FadeAway Sports, episode 166, moving through it. Appreciate people commenting in this morning. Like I said, Jordan and Ann, hope you guys have a good Sunday as well. Hana out there. Grace, birthday tomorrow, 5-year-old.
Happy birthday, Grace.
I got a daughter that's 5. Crazy people. Here we go. Wish me luck. Getting to that stage now. Getting to that stage is Dad. So we're working our way there. So shout out to Sebastopol as well. We mentioned you a few times. I don't know. We mentioned it, Sebastopol. I think I love that one place we get that chicken and the pineapple sandwich. It's really good down there by that Bodega Bay. So we always go down there for that in Sebastopol. That's our one spot with it. It's always packed there too because that place in the beginning.
I don't know what you're talking about. Where?
I don't know. It's kind of more by the library. This place over there in Sebastopol, kind of right where the book. It's not a library where the bookstore is. There's like a bookstore and then there's like
Screaming Mimi's ice cream.
It's next to that. It's like a restaurant. It's like a cafe. I forget what it's called. They used to have a cafe in Santa Rosa too, next to the Mary's over there too. if East West Cafe, I think it's called.
Yeah. Okay, no,
we used to go there all the time. All right, Tyler, have a good Sunday, man. I get tomorrow off. Working out of school, I get tomorrow off, so I get a little rub in there to you as well. A little rub in. I'm assuming.
What's it for? What's the holiday?
President's Day.
Well, hopefully we haven't had a good one of those in 100 years. So
it's my daughter's birthday. It's already a good one. We can start there. Should I go buy her a car? There's sales tomorrow. I buy sales.
Yeah, great sale. Go to Man.
Sales.
Ask for Ernie.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow with it. So, all right, good show in the books here. Fatboy FadeAway, episode 166. Tyler, see you next week. Take it easy. Peace.